Well, Grace, you did a great job at the speech. Here's to new beginnings. Yeah, I don't think I can do any more speeches, said Grace. That was the last one for me. Seeing Miss Jackson leave is going to be tough, said Grace. Yeah, we're going to get on this decision on how to go about having this fundraising event soon enough, said Michael. As Michael and Grace were in the field not far away from the country club, they were enjoying the cool evening, embracing each other. I never thought marriage would be like this as they held each other in each other's arms. We better get in because they're going to be wondering where we're at. Let's just stay a few minutes, said Michael. I want to hold you just one little more minute. One little more minute. We could stay another few minutes, said Grace. Besides, I need a breather. Well, the kids are okay. Everybody's okay. They're still in the country club. This is a beautiful scene, said Michael. It's perfect, perfect place to have a romantic interlude. Well, you're always romantic with me, said Grace. Yes, said Michael. I try to be. I think that's the best aspect of our marriage is that we share this intimate moments like this to keep me going, said Grace. Well, that's great, Michael said, because that's what keeps me going too. Well, as they were enjoying that time together quietly in the beautiful scene as the overcast was coming over, they knew it was time to go in to the country club, into the conference. Ah, Miss Jackson was so happy to see Grace and Michael walk in the door. I guess you needed to take a breather after your speech, said Miss Jackson. You did so well. You had so many compliments, by the way, said Miss Jackson. Oh, Grace is so gracious in accepting of the compliments that she just leaned her head down and looked at Michael and held his hand and said, I'm so happy, said Michael. Grace has worked so hard. She tried to do this speech at least 20 different times, but I think she did it perfect this time. But she, like all of us, are all planning one special event, one last special fundraiser. Yes, I heard, said Miss Jackson. Yes, it's important that we have that fundraiser. Well, let's go get some refreshments, said Miss Jackson to Michael and Grace. As they headed over to the refreshment stand and they enjoyed refreshments and food and got a table at the reception area. The kids were all gathered together, all excited to talk to Mom about their speech. They said, You mentioned me, Mom, said Bailey. Yes, I did. And then you mentioned me too. Elijah said, Thanks, Mom. I feel important, said Jenny. Aw, that's great, kids. I'm glad you did. Miss Yokoshota was so proud. She said, You have done so much for the kids. It is such an honor to be a part of this family. Oh, Miss Yokoshota, you make us, the family, even that more special. Oh, you don't even know how special it is to be a part of this family. Miss Jackson mentioned that it's a unique situation. That's what makes this whole story so worthwhile. Michael agreed. It is a unique situation. As they were finishing up dinner and cleaning up, it was time to go. And the kids were excited because it was getting late and they wanted to get home and watch the telescope and watch the stars at night. Mom, is it okay if we stay up a little late? No, it's a school night. Unfortunately, not. Aw, said Elisha. Over the weekend, said Jenny. Yes, over the weekend you can. We gotta hustle home because it is getting later. And it is getting darker out earlier, as you can tell. They'll be changing times, and before you know it, things will be changing. Seasons will be changing, and it's getting a lot cooler already. Okay, kids, as they hustled along and got into the cars and buckled up. Bye, Miss Jackson, said Grace. And Michael said, so long, Miss Jackson. We'll talk to you soon about the rest of their planning committee and all the things that we have to do to plan for the event ahead. Oh, I can't wait to see what happens with the fundraiser. Like every fundraiser, there's planning that gets involved in all kinds of decisions, but it's easy to know this. They've done it before and they will do it again at the same place they did it before. So it's not a hard thing to put together. It's exactly what Michael was thinking as he drove off with Grace and the kids. And Miss Yokoshoda and Grandma and Grandpap drove in the other car. Oh, as they arrived home, it was nice to get home. The kids hurried up into their rooms and got to their pajamas and said their goodnight prayers. And they came to kiss Mom and Dad goodnight, and Grandma and Grandpa and Grandma Yokoshoda goodnight. Melissa went to Grandma Yokoshoda and said, good night, Grandma Yokoshoda. Good night, Melissa. It is always so nice to sing good night to you. Remember, your angel's watching over you. Yes, said Melissa. Josiah said, is my angel watching over me too? Yes, Josiah. Michael asked too, do I have an angel watching over me? Yes, you do, Michael. Oh, Mrs. Yokoshoda was so happy to hear the kids talk. After all, they're only in preschool and they're just learning how to talk more intelligibly. Wow, it's so good to hear them talk fluently, said Grace. Yeah, Michael said, it is nice to hear them clearly talk. All right, kids, good night. Good night, Dad, said Elijah. How's school going for you still, son? Son, I'm proud of you. I know it's 10th grade. Well, it's a lot of college prep classes, Dad. So it's a lot more advanced AP classes. So, okay, well, if you need anything, let me know, okay? Said Dad. Okay, Dad, I will ask if I need anything. Good night, son. Good night, Dad. Good night, Mom. Oh, good night, honey. As they all went to bed and finally got to sleep, it was clear that the nanny was so tired. She's like, I need a break. Yeah, it was a long night. You can go ahead and go home early. The overnight girl usually stays early, and Jackie said she would stay late. Okay, Jackie, so you're going to stay over for the night? Yeah. Okay, so your relief is here. So, as Terry decided to leave and Jackie was covering for Jackie, I'm sorry, Terry, they decided to switch shifts and Jackie decided to go upstairs and make herself comfortable. Since the kids are already in bed, you can just take it easy for the rest of the evening. Unless anything comes up, you know, just let us know, said Michael to Jackie. Okay, Jackie said. Okay, that's it for the night. Mom and Dad are already in bed, said Grace. I think so. Mrs. Yokoshoda said, well, that leaves only me. So what are we going to do? Oh, you decided to stay up with us? Oh, I am not staying up late. I got a show called A Special episode on astronomy and stars in the sky on Hulu. Oh, really? Yes, really. So Mrs. Yokoshodo was so happy and said, "Good night, Michael, and good night, Grace. I'm going to go watch my show on Hulu. Good night, Mrs. Yokoshodo. It's always so great to watch you so happy to go watch your show on Hulu. Okay, good night." Well, that was the end of the night for Michael and Grace. Everybody has pretty much tied up their loose ends and went to bed. That's great because it leaves Michael and Grace some time alone. "Well, I'm not really tired, are you?" said Michael. "Not really. I'm a little still hyped up from that speech. Let's have a recap. So, what did you like about the speech so much? I mean, in so many words, Michael," said Grace. "Well, I like the fact that you mentioned the kids and you mentioned our marriage and how we met. I think that was the highlight because that was the meat and potatoes of the story. If you didn't mention how we met at the gas station, I don't think people would understand how we really evolved into who we are today. It was like you had to be broken at your worst time of your life to like literally be lost and now found. Like I think you should talk about I've been lost and now I've been found. That sounds like a great chapter to the next series. Yeah, I think so. Well, I don't know about you, but maybe we should head to bed early and go talk more about this. Sure, let's do that. I mean, I'm not tired or anything, but I do have to get to work because we do have a Thursday report. That's true. You do have to be up early for work. Okay, let's get to bed. As Michael and Grace romantically embraced each other in their bed, it didn't take long for the romance to begin. And before you know it, they were passionately making love. That didn't take long for them to be intimate and, of course, romantic. It didn't start there, though, because, of course, they've been very frisky all night long with each other. So the romance blossomed into a beautiful night together. As morning came, Michael headed in early to work and told Grace before he left, he said, "I love you, Grace. You make me one happy man." Aw, Grace said, "I'm so happy because you make me happy too." Aw, honey, I love you, said Michael. "I love you too," said Grace. Just the correlation that the couple, Michael and Grace, have evolved into so much. Their marriage has blossomed into something so big and so beautiful that their family life is so incredible. It is really shown in the way the kids interact and the family interacts with each other. Their love is extended not just from the bedroom, but from what they do as a family. It changes the way things have been handled and how they manage their problems and manage their lives together. Even how he works is more effective. So by the time he goes into work, he's happier, he's more joyful, he gets more things done, he's more effective at work. It's because he has a solid marriage. So, Carol, how's everything? Everything's great. How are you doing, Michael? Everything's wonderful. You're in a good mood, said Carol. Well, Carol, let me say this. I had a wonderful, wonderful last night, but I mean, my wife had given a good speech and the night was wonderful. We got some time to be together. My family life is good. My home life is good. My work life is good. I have a lot to say, a lot of pluses. Well, you better get in there in the office because you have some employees waiting for you. That's right, Carol, I do. I have to get in my office. Don't forget your coffee, as Carol handed him a cup of coffee. Oh, you knew? Yes, of course. I'm HR. I know everything, or at least I think everything that HR needs to know. That's right, Carol, said Michael. As Michael heads in from the HR department into his office, he sees that Vanessa, Jolie, Cindy, and Harrison are all at the office. It's good to see you. Even Madison made it into the office, and Macy, the assistant. It's nice to see everybody. Okay, so we're going to have this early report done here, and then we'll be prepared for the 1 o'clock report. Okay, sounds good. As they went on to discuss the report and what needed to be discussed, they were going to keep it really short and brief because they didn't want to make any decisions, but they did want to mention the fundraiser and volunteers who would be willing to help with the fundraiser that would be sponsored by Smithton Automotive. So that was one of the things that they discussed. As Vanessa and everybody were wrapping up the discussion and the short meeting at work, they finished up just in time for lunch. Okay, so I'll see you at the report. Yeah, I think we got everything we need, said Vanessa. Yeah, I think so, said Cindy. Harrison agreed. Harrison, you ready for the report? Yep. Harrison's going to give the final report, and I'll see you after lunch. Everybody meets in the conference room like as us we always do, said Michael. Okay, said Jolie. I'm going to go check on my son and daughter, and I'll be back. Okay, that sounds like a good idea, Vanessa said. I'm going to go see my son too. And I want to go see my husband over at building 2 as well, said Vanessa. Okay, said Michael. I'm going to sit here in the office and have my lunch. As lunch was only an hour long, not long enough to sit and do too much, but it was enough for Michael to relax a little bit. But by the time that hour wrapped up, everybody was coming in for the hour had wrapped up. Okay, everybody, we're ready for that report, Harris. Harrison is ready for that report. He's almost here. He said he's going to be about a minute or 2 minutes late. Okay, as everybody's sitting in the conference room. Okay, Harrison coming in. Hi, everybody. Sorry about being delayed. I just needed to go talk to Lily, my little daughter. Okay, so I just want to tell you that there's a big event that is planned for October 15th. We are having a very special fundraising event. It's called Second Chance Dance, and it is for fundraising for the community center. And we are looking for volunteers. So if you are interested in doing that, please let us know. Go to HR for that and sign up if you'd like to volunteer. And as far as our numbers are going, we are doing fantastic, probably the best we've ever done. As far as paychecks, as you know, every Friday after 2 o'clock, go to HR in the back. Carol Henderson handles that, and you could pick up your paycheck after 2 o'clock. And that's it for my report. That's it. Quick and easy breezy, lemon squeezy. Is that how it goes? No, it doesn't go like that, said Vanessa, but that's close enough. Okay, congratulations. Everybody's clapping and everybody's happy that the report is over and the meeting disperses. Thank you, Michael. That's great. The report is over. Great. Good enough for